So this is the code which we had worked earlier. So let me just close that, delete this skeleton code, and let us save this. So we'll save it as data types. So again, let me just give a numbering. Okay, .py. Okay, don't forget this extension. So this extension I forgot to mention in our first code. So basically this tells it is a Python file, just like any other file. If you are viewing image, it can be JPEG or a PNG format, and also with respect to text, it will be TXT, and even documentations will be doc or docx. So similarly for Python we have .py. Okay, so let us just save that, and maybe we can just delete the console. So it will just remove all the variables. Okay, it is not clear. So let me just restart the kernel. Okay, so it will clear up everything. Okay, so let us go ahead and do data types. So basically first we'll see integers. So you can define integers or numbers. So basically integers, numbers, floats, everything will come under numbers itself. Integers, floats. Okay, so number, you can define x, or maybe we'll work on the Python shell itself, since we will not be, we'll use this later on. So here I can define x is equal to 5, and we can ask what kind of type it is. So type, so again type is a function in Python types, or it is an inbuilt function. So it is telling integer. What if I declare x is equal to, so I'm using a capital X, as mentioned before, Python is case sensitive, so x will not be equal to x. So if I am typing like type of capital X instead of small x, okay, so it has to give back me an error. So it is taking a time. So it is telling x is undefined. So here I have given type of 5. So let me just give type of x. Okay, so small x. So this will tell me it is an integer because our x value is nothing but 5. Okay, so this is with respect to integer. Let us declare maybe y or capital X. You can declare anything. 5.0. Okay. So if you check what is the type of our capital X now, so it is basically a float, even though after it has a decimal point and it will start. So if I'm trying to declare, as I was telling, we can define negative numbers also, -4. So let me just change the num a. So what is a? So it is -4. Type of a, it is an integer, but I can define b. Maybe b is equal to -4.45. So what is b? -4.45. Type of b, it is nothing but a float itself. Now let us declare something kind of a boolean. Okay, so complex numbers, again we will not go into complex number, or you can declare something like a plus jb. Okay, so it might not work. Okay, so you can go and check what exactly is complex numbers. So it gives an error because jb is not defined. Okay, so that is the imaginary part which we'll be using. Again, for complex number there are a set of functions which you can look ahead. So I can see that also. So we'll go with strings now. Let me define string. Before boolean we'll go string, and here you can see str is giving some kind of orange color coding. So that means it is a function. So you can enter that. It is just returning string itself. So help, open bracket, string. So here if you want to have any information about any data type, you can just search as help string. So here I just ran string, so it is defined as a class. Okay, so again classes are something like little advanced, which we will not be discussing with respect to our basic Python. So again it has multiple functions, or these functions are known as methods inside a class. Okay, so again you have many things like encode, starts with, expands. So you can see what exactly these are. So as we progress into further into the course, we'll be using a lot of functions, and also what exactly they are, like few methods which have certain functions, we'll see them also. So coming back to the string. Okay, so let me just define string equal to, so it is giving me nice encoding, color coding over here. So then we can definitely check out what exactly is there. I can tell, hi there, I am a string. Okay, you can do something like that. And remember to give this like enclosing your string with respect to open like double inverted quotes. Okay, so it should be enclosed with but double inverted quotes. So that is string. Okay, so if at all I miss this, okay, so let me give enter. So it is telling end of line while scanning for string literal. So basically it gives me an error. Okay, so basically what if you want to type double inverted inside a string? Okay, and also before that string can be anything. So for example it can be like hello world, which we have already seen. It can start with numbers also, 1 2 3. Then you can have hyphen, special characters, so that will be just printed back. Okay, so this can also be a string, so you can just put this as a maybe uh, str string a equal to, so if you just call string a, so it prints out the same. And also we can check the type of str underscore a. So this is our variable which are declaring at the left hand side. So again we'll have a small video on what exactly is variable, how exactly we'll be declaring that. There is very few rules which we'll be seeing on later. So as I was telling, if I want to print something inside this one, okay, so maybe I want to highlight a statement. Okay, so let me call state is equal to a statement. Okay, so I want to highlight maybe we'll call Mary's uh, dog said oof. Okay, so it is like kind of parking or something. Okay, so here we have a single exclamatory, we can definitely define them. Okay, so it will perfectly work. But if it like other than double inverted quotes, we can use single quotes also. So here you can use a single quote, here you can use a single quote. Okay, maybe you don't have Mary's dog, so a dog said oof. Okay, so that works. Okay, again you can check the state. So yes, dog said oof, but you want to set Mary's dog, so maybe using a double inverted and single inverted outside, it is can be done, but you want to highlight this oof. Okay, so for highlighting, for highlighting we'll use double inverteds. Okay, so you can already see the color coding is messed up, and if you hit enter, it is getting an error. Okay, so for this condition we can interchange our parenthesis. So maybe instead of Mary's, if we have a dog, so at that scenario definitely this perfectly works. But the real question is when we have Mary. Okay, so at this scenario we have the Python creators realize this sort of thing that can happen, so they have already came up with an escape for this. Okay, so in fact these things we use are actually called as escape character itself. So in the sense they are allowed to escape or avoid a special meaning of a character. For example, here the single quote at the beginning and the end are telling this is enclosed in a string, so that is a special meaning, right? So those can be escaped. Okay, for using escape character, we'll be using something known as a backslash. Okay, so here if at all I use a backslash, see already again if I hit enter there is an error, so I need backslash for both this, because it will be ending the statement over here. If I don't have a backslash here and type something here, you can see it is giving me white format. So if I have a backslash here and if I type something, it is still under the string. Okay, so this is still a string, this is a string. And now okay, so now let us just print the state and see what happens to this escape characters. So here you can see backslash are not added, rather the special characters are used itself, like it has given itself. So similarly escape characters using this backslash, we can actually give special meaning. So if I like give maybe line, okay, let me just define as line. So line equal to n, so it does not give name. So this is a line n. Okay, so if I print out line, it will give me this is a line slash n. But if at all I have a special character backslash, this special escape character is nothing but backslash, right? So if I have explain, and this is the following string. Okay, so we can give any kind of naming for that. So this is a following string. So now let us see what exactly happens to our line. Okay, so it is giving me this is the line backslash n, this is the following string. So basically here that is odd. Basically here it needs to print out in a next line. Okay, so here it is not printing out in a next line. So maybe here the string is not taking like that. So let me use a print statement rather. Okay, print line. Here you can see when we are calling line, it is just outputting what exactly is my line. So it is giving me the hard code what exactly is present in the line. But whereas when I'm printing it, and also when I'm printing it, notice that I am not getting as out. Okay, so it is not an output of any input statements which we are giving. Rather, it is printing. We are already telling we have to return something. Okay, here we are returning with respect to the content which is in line. So notice that I am not using any double inverted quotes. So if I use double inverted quotes over here, it will just print as the line. Okay, just the line. Okay, so here you can see it is going to the next line. So that is backslash n. So this will give us a new line. Also there is a space over here because there is a space over here. Similarly, I can have different kind of okay, let me just different kind of escape characters. A few examples will be for tabs. You can use slash t. So basically, I won't give any spaces between this and enter this. So let us just print back the line. So here you can see there is kind of two spaces or a tab over here. So similarly, we can have maybe I will use something known as carriage return, that is backslash r, and have lot of spaces. Okay, so basically this lot of spaces should be over here. So I will have a new line over here. So let me just print this first, so we can have a difference. So here you can see lot of spaces is printed as it is over here. So now we can give that backslash r, the carriage return which I was mentioning. Okay, so now let us print line. So you can see backslash r is telling come back to the starting beginning of the line. So that is carriage return. So those are about strings, or I think the last data type which we are like having. Okay, for some reason it is giving me all the statements together. Okay, it went to history. Okay, we'll go back to console. So now the final kind of data types is true or false. So let me just define bool. Again, bool is a function. I can't use that. Let me use as boo. Boo is equal to true. See here again it is changing into purple. So this is a very good advantage of using a text editor and also having the Python extension. In VS Code also we had installed the Python extension. If you don't have this installed, it can't build it or it can't run it. Whereas Spider comes, like, it is dedicated for Python itself, and it is telling the Python version over here itself. So let me just enter that, and if I check boo, it is true. Okay, so if I try to print boo, it will tell true. Okay, what is the type of boo? So it is a boolean, that is bool. Okay, similarly I can have maybe caps b. So this will tell us case sensitive. What is boo with caps b? That is true. What is, okay, I should declare that as false. We have already seen the true condition, so false. So what is now caps b? So here I have manipulated the same alphabet with a different value. Okay, so basically the same variable is taking up a different value. Okay, so now caps boo with caps b is nothing but a false, whereas small with a small b is still true. Okay, so this is why case sensitive Python recognizes this as a different variable and this as a different variable. So that's all for with respect to the data types. So in the next session we'll continue further.